Webtoon is the MAPPA of the digital comic scene. Bold claim? Maybe. But the similarities run deep. Relentless deadlines, creators burning out within months or sometimes weeks of launching, the pressure to deliver studio-quality art and storytelling at the pace that could rival a 7-season anime, all with minimal support from the platform or the fans. Sound familiar? Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Puddles, creator of Alice the Vampire Slayer on Webtoon. I've been creating there for about 3 years, or more, I can't tell, and I'm finally taking a hiatus, so catch up on Alice while you still can. Now let's start with the biggest wake-up call, expectation versus reality. You might think that making a webcomic is a cakewalk, because hey, what's better than writing a story about your already established OCs, right? It sounds awesome to have full creative control over your story. Wrong. Sure, you can build a story around your characters, but if you don't make certain changes, like censoring your work or following biased terms of service, your comic is going to get buried. It doesn't matter how much love, time, or effort you pour into it, you're fighting against a garbage algorithm that does absolutely nothing for you. You have to be the director, the writer, the artist, the typesetter, the researcher, everything. And if your comic doesn't fall into one of the handful of genres Webtoon actually promotes, you're screwed. Webtoon promotes comics based on weekly updates, something that frankly isn't sustainable under normal circumstances. So Canvas creators see that and think, hey, I need to upload weekly too. That must be how the originals get recognition. You don't think ahead, you just dive in, fully believing that weekly updates will help you succeed, and then you burn out within your first month. Trust me, I did bi-weekly updates for 3 years, and I'm only now taking a hiatus. And honestly, I probably should have done that way sooner. What they don't tell you is you need buffer episodes. Before you cast off into the unknown, you've got to take some time to build a backlog. Buffers are your safety net, and without them, you're just setting yourself up to crash and burn. It's something I'm planning to do for my new comic, and once my hiatus is over, I'm applying the same strategy to my current one too. Webtoon used to feel like a place where you could tell your stories freely, a place to find your voice and maybe even get your foot into the door of the comic industry. But lately, it's gotten so corporate and profit-driven that I honestly don't think it's really a healthy space for creators anymore. The system feels like it's designed to actively work against you, unless you're exactly what they're looking for. You're basically invisible. And speaking of invisible, yeah, that's how it feels when you finally launch your comic. Unless you already have a big audience on other platforms or social media, you're not gonna get subs immediately. I know, Captain Obvious, right? But it's the truth. You might launch your comic and expect, I don't know, maybe 100 subs right out the gate? Nope. 50? Nope. 15? Try again. 10? Still no. At most, you'll probably get like 5 subs, and those 5, let me break it down for you. 1 is you, 2 are your close friends or family, 1 is someone who subbed just to read later and then ghosted, and maybe, just maybe, 1 person who gave you a chance right off the bat. That's your launch squad. And yet, when that 1 person reads your comic and leaves a comment, you'll be so happy and so full of joy. I remember the first time I got real engagement from someone who wasn't a friend, wasn't a family member, just a real reader who stumbled onto my comic and cared enough to say something. It was a rush, I admit. I'm an anxious person. When it comes to myself and my work, I tend to be very self-conscious and I undermine myself. I doubt my abilities and I wrestle with low self-worth. And yes, I know that's not accurate, but that doesn't stop it from feeling true most of the time. I started my comic during a very isolated, painful time in my life. In a way, it started as a form of escapism. A distraction from the grief and loss I was dealing with. That year that I launched my comic, I lost my grandfather, and not long after, I lost my dog. So everything felt back-to-back, overwhelming, and heavy, so I turned to the story. Not because it was some burning passion project at the time, but because I needed something to hold on to. And it worked. But over time, I started to care more, I began to dig deeper into the characters, the story, the world, and I started treating it a bit more seriously than initially. Even though this comic didn't have the most glamorous or inspiring beginning, I grew into it, and now I want to make it the best it can possibly be. Because it's not just a project anymore, it's mine. And whether 5 people or 5,000 people are reading it, it deserves that effort. Hey, quick pause. If you made it this far into the video, first off, thank you. Second, I want to hear from you. If you're a comic creator on Webtoon or even just thinking about it, drop a comment below. Have you gone through any of this? Burnout, algorithm blues, monetization struggles? Let's talk about it. I read every comment, for better or worse. Okay, back to the video. Next up, let's talk about the thing everyone dreads the most, monetization. It can't be a Webtoon video without talking about monetization, the dream of getting paid for all that effort you pour into making your comic. The hope that maybe, just maybe, you can reinvest what you earn back into your project, keep it alive, and let the cycle continue. What I really hate is when readers, or people outside of Webtoon, and the art world in general, act like creators only care about profit. Like, oh, you're just doing it for the money. Yes, but also no. I'm honestly so tired of this idea that if you're passionate, then passion alone should be enough to carry your work. Like wanting value for your time suddenly makes you greedy. No one questions this logic in any other job. No one says to a chef, you must not really love cooking if you're expecting it to get paid for it. Or tells a mechanic you just do it for the love of cars. Artists, we're out here juggling multiple jobs just to support our webtoons. And oh yeah, also to eat, pay rent, and I don't know, stay alive? Let me break it down. Back when I worked at a factory to save up for college, I pulled 12-hour shifts, 4 days a week. That's 48 hours of work in a week. And here's the wild part. Ready? You ready for this? I got paid. Imagine that, getting paid for your time. Oh my god, what a wild concept. These days, okay, my comics work schedule is technically Monday through Wednesday and Friday, 13 hours a day. It fluctuates. Thursdays are reserved for my actual paying job, and weekends are supposed to be for rest. Supposed to be. But let's be honest, the schedule, as I said, fluctuates all the time. Sometimes I work weekends, sometimes I pull all-nighters or wake up at 5 a.m. the day of upload because there's unfinished work to do. Sometimes I lose Thursdays to comic stress instead of clocking out. Sometimes the grind just doesn't stop. So on paper, that's 104 hours per episode. In practice, it's often well over that. For context, a full-time job is 80 hours every 2 weeks. I'm working past full-time hours unpaid to make a webcomic that might not even get visibility, let alone compensation. And people say, well, if you love it, it shouldn't be about the money. Like, okay, try telling your landlord that. I paid you in passion this month. See how that goes. Even Webtoon monetization systems is unrealistic unless you're in the right genre or already have a huge audience. To even qualify for ad revenue on Canvas, you need 1,000 subscribers, okay, I'm almost there, and 40,000 global monthly page views. Excuse me, what? For context, I get 1,962 global monthly views on my comic. So yeah, not happening. And then there's super likes, which I technically qualify for. But yeah, it's basically the same as regular likes. No payout, no support, just a nice pat on the back from the void. And what about reward ads? You need 100,000 global monthly views for that. 100,000. No wonder people are jumping ship to NSFW patrons and exclusive sites. And yes, it's scummy that artists feel like they have to go out of their comfort zone just to survive. It's scummy that so many end up sexualizing their own characters, not because they want to, but because it's the only way they can appeal to the gooner crowd and scrape together a living. And the worst part, we're doing it on platforms like Webtoon, where it's technically not even allowed. Webtoon pretends to be a family-friendly platform, but they still have mature rating systems. A system that is just as flawed and inconsistent as the rest of their site. Some comics get away with borderline NSFW content because it's stylized or framed as romantic, and others get shadow banned or warned over something as mild as a suggestive pose. There is no consistency, no clarity, and no protection. So what do creators do? They self-censor just enough to stay on the platform, and then redirect the readers to their NSFW patron for full, exclusive, uncensored comics. Because that's the only place they can make actual money. Is that ideal? No. Is it healthy for the creator or their story? Definitely not. But it is, I admit, survival. And when the platform gives you no other way to sustain yourself, what other options is there? Ko-Fi? If you're already struggling to get even 1% of your audience on Patreon, good luck convincing them to follow you to yet another platform. If you've ever felt invisible on Webtoon, like no one's seeing or appreciating your work, it's not just in your head. The platform's recent changes have quietly chipped away at creators' chances to get feedback, build a fan base, and stay motivated. Let me show you what is really going on behind the scenes with the next topic on our list, platform changes. Like all social media, anything you post will give you dopamine and validation from strangers. It's a little sad byproduct that we resolve our self-worth over little things like metrics and how well we perform, as if we're circus animals for your entertainment. And we are literally making entertainment. And slowly it becomes an addiction. You crave that positive feedback, the dopamine of new likes, a few kind comments, anything to validate the work you've poured your heart into. You start tying your ego to your metrics. It's not healthy, but it does happen. And maybe that's why Webtoon removed the rating system, because a lot of creators, let's be honest, couldn't handle it. They saw a 6.8 and didn't think, okay, how can I improve? Clearly, this is feedback and I'm not performing well. What can I do to make my audience feel better about my work? They thought, I'm being attacked. They took criticism personally, so they complained and Webtoon caved. Now the rating system, one of the only honest forms of feedback we had, is gone. Likes per episode, hidden on mobile. Comments, not even accessible from your dashboard anymore. And I'm not even sure they ever were accessible. I can only ever see my own comments on episodes, not anyone else's. So if you want to see how your comic is performing, you have to inflate your own metrics. Open your own comic, click through episodes, scroll to the comments, all of that data gets counted and it skews everything. It's fake engagement just to access your own feedback. And I get it, Webtoon wanted to make the platform nicer. But removing the rating system didn't just protect creators with fragile egos, it hurt everyone else who was doing the work, showing up, improving, listening, learning, because now there's no trust metric for new readers. Let's say you have 1,000 subs, 50 episodes. If every person liked every episode, you'd have 50,000 likes, right? Nope. You might not even have 5,000 because readers don't always like an episode, even when they really enjoy it. Or they're ghost readers. They subscribe just to read later and never return. So the numbers you do get, they look bad. They look like no one's engaging, which sucks because the algorithm doesn't push subs, it pushes likes, then subs. And low likes means low visibility. So now you have to beg your audience to like your episodes, the ones you've poured your heart and soul into, but you can't sound desperate. You have to ask nicely and casually like, if you're enjoying the story, consider liking the episode, with heart emojis, like some NPC trying to give you a quest. And I'm not guessing at this. I've been tracking my own metrics. I made a spreadsheet because Webtoon's analytics are vague and unreliable. So I keep track of likes per episode, engagement trends, upload versus discovery timelines. On average, when I upload a new episode, which takes me 2 weeks to make solo with no team, no breaks, no safety net, I get around 25 to 30 likes on release. That's less than 1% of my audience engaging with a new update. Yes, that number grows over time. People find the comic later and engage later, but that initial response is what the algorithm sees. And when that is low, it feels defeating. I average about 5 to 8 comments per episode, and honestly, that's good engagement. I love reading those. I try to respond to every single one, not just because it boosts metrics, but because I care, and I want to connect with my readers. I want to make this a two-way experience, not just me screaming into the void, or even you guys screaming into a void to a creator who doesn't acknowledge you. But even that boosts the algorithm. Every time I respond, it inflates the comment count. And yeah, it helps visibility, but also kind of sad because I'm not just making a comic anymore, I'm managing PR, audience retention, and engagement strategies, all by myself. Sometimes after all that, the stress, the pressure, the self-imposed deadlines I set for myself, and for you, I sit there drained and I just ask myself, why am I even doing this? And the truth is, it's not because of the likes, it's not even because of the subscribers, it's because I love telling the story. I love the characters, I love creating something from nothing. I love delving into like my 30 pages plus of notes just to look up werewolf facts I created for this story and vampire subclasses I created for this story. It's amazing to dive deep into these things to make a richer, more compelling story. And even psychology. I go into depth for psychology for my characters so they feel believable. But that love gets buried under metrics, under comparison, under the mental gymnastics required to stay seen. And I'm not here to complain, I'm here to tell the truth, because if you're a creator on Webtoon, or you're thinking of becoming one, this is the reality. It's exhausting, it's unsustainable, and it's not really talked about enough. And the platform itself is not changing. So let's talk about the UI changes. Webtoon's app now looks like a sketchy AI-infested hellhole. Pop-ups are so big, they eat a third of your screen, and for what? AI softcore porn. Yes, I said it. They're promoting literal AI-generated Lois Griffin giving me bedroom eyes, while also pretending to care about their content rating system. How can you be so hellbent on protecting your audience from mature content while running ads that would get a Canvas creator banned? It's hypocrisy. The same platform that slaps a warning on your comic for showing a shoulder promotes fetish comics on the homepage. The same platform that bans Canvas creators for pushing TOS boundaries lets originals publish practically full-blown sex scenes. It's one rule for them and another rule for the rest of us. That's what it feels like. Canvas creators get policed and originals get a pass. That's the game. But even then, like, some Canvas creators need to be policed because they are promoting not safe for work comics. And it's disgusting. The longer you stay on the platform, the more it feels like it's just you being gaslit into silence. So why do we still do it? Why do we still post when we are actively fighting tooth and nail to get a shimmer of recognition? Well, an easy answer to that question would be spite. But a nicer, more cushy answer would be that we as creators love what we are doing, even if it sometimes feels like we're digging our own early graves just to get the stories out there. And maybe the hope that Webtoon will reignite their own love for indie creators instead of becoming more money hungry than they already are. Oh wait. Well, that's a story for another day. If you made it to the end of this, drop a skull emoji in the comments so I know that you stuck through this frankly long video. If you want more content just like this, unfiltered rants, and real creator insights, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And remember, give indie comics a chance, they might just surprise you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.